Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we try to understand the secret handshake of the business world. Today we are diving into James River Group Holdings Limited, a company that seems to be tinkering with its long-term plans. So this filing is all about what happened at their annual meeting on the 23rd of October 2025. The big news is that shareholders approved some changes to how the company can give out stock to its employees and directors. Think of these plans as ways companies reward people for sticking around and helping the company grow. They approved changes to the James River Group Holdings Limited 2014 Long-Term Incentive Plan, which is like the main pot of stock options and awards. They also made changes to the James River Group Holdings Limited 2014 Non-Employee Director Incentive Plan, which is specifically for the board members who aren't full-time employees. Let's break down what this means. First up, the Fourth Amendment to the 2014 LTIP. This is a pretty simple change, really. They are increasing the number of company shares available for this plan by a significant chunk, 165,000 shares. Imagine the company has a certain number of shares it can use to give as bonuses or as part of compensation. This amendment just adds more shares to that pool. Why do they do this? Well, it helps them attract and keep talented people. When employees have a stake in the company through stock ownership, they are often more motivated to perform well. It aligns their interests with the shareholders. Then we have the Third Amendment to the Non-Employee Director Plan. This one is similar, but for the folks on the board who don't work for the company day to day, they are adding 225,000 shares to this plan. Again, this is about making sure the directors are also incentivized to do a good job and think like owners. Now, for the really interesting part, the vote results from the annual meeting. It looks like the shareholders voted to elect all 8 directors that were up for re-election. Let's look at how strong that support was. For Matthew B. Botine, we saw 336,43684 shares voted in favour and only 368,380 against. That is a really solid endorsement, people. Most directors received similar levels of support with votes for in the high 33 millions and against in the low to mid 100,000s. The only slight outlier here is Kirsten M. Gould, who had a few more against votes at 1199951, but still a clear majority with 327,50395 shares voting for her. The number of broken non-votes is also worth noting at 563,889 for each director. This means that some shareholders did not provide specific instructions to their brokers on how to vote their shares. Scroll Proposal 2, the reappointment of Ernst & Young LLP scroll. Next up was the vote on their independent auditor, Ernst & Young LLP. This is a pretty standard procedural vote, and it looks like shareholders overwhelmingly approved appointing them with 39,457,032 votes for. This is important because having an independent auditor is key to ensuring the company's financial statements are accurate and trustworthy. Now, this is often where things get spicy. Shareholders voted on the compensation of the company's named executive officers. This vote is advisory, so it is not binding, meaning the company doesn't have to follow it, but it gives a strong signal to the board. The results here are a bit more mixed. We see 21,090,315 votes in favour, but a significant 12,177,107 votes against. This suggests that a substantial portion of shareholders have some concerns about the executive compensation packages. The roughly 5.6 million broken non-votes again indicate a segment of shareholders we didn't hear from directly on this issue. Moving on to Proposal 4, which was the approval of the amendment to the 2014 LTIP that we talked about earlier. Shareholders voted 319,52386 in favour of this change. This shows broad support for increasing the stock available for employee incentives. And finally, Proposal 5, the approval of the amendment to the Non-Employee Director Plan. This one also saw strong shareholder support with 222,11899 votes in favour. It seems the shareholders are largely on board with these incentive plan adjustments. Looking at the exhibits at the end of the filing, we can see the actual documents for these amendments. Exhibit 10.1 is the Fourth Amendment to the Long-Term Incentive Plan, and Exhibit 10.2 is the Third Amendment to the Non-Employee Director Incentive Plan. These are the official documents detailing the changes approved at the meeting. So, what is the story here? On the surface, James River Group Holdings Limited had a successful annual meeting. The directors were re-elected, the auditors approved, and the incentive plans got a facelift. However, the advisory vote on executive compensation raises a red flag. While a majority of shareholders approved the pay packages, a significant minority did not. This is often a sign of underlying shareholder dissatisfaction, or at least a desire for greater transparency and justification of executive pay. The increased stock pools for incentive plans are a positive sign for employee motivation and retention, but the executive pay vote suggests that the board needs to carefully consider shareholder feedback. In terms of business direction, this filing is more about governance and how the company plans to incentivize its people rather than a deep dive into financial performance itself. We don't have the juicy financial numbers here on revenue or profit, but it is clear the company is focused on its human capital. In the grand scheme of things, the elections and incentive plan amendments are standard corporate housekeeping. The real story to watch is how the company addresses the concerns raised by the executive compensation vote. Are they listening? Will they adjust their approach to pay? Shareholder sentiment on these matters can sometimes precede larger strategic shifts. All in all, James River Group Holdings Limited appears to be navigating its corporate governance smoothly, with a focus on rewarding its team. However, the mixed signals on executive pay are definitely something to keep an eye on, as it can impact employee morale and investor confidence. Alright, that is our breakdown of James River Group Holdings Limited's latest filing. What is your take on these shareholder votes and what they signal for the company's future? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this analysis helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe for more corporate deep dives. And don't forget to join our Discord community linked in the description for more insights and discussion. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.